Hello, hello. How is everyone? Yes, it's Desiree. And it is our first Sunday of the month. And that means we are tangling today. But first, I am going to go through, I'm just going to wait a couple seconds here. I am going to go through just a couple things that I had found and realized. So hopefully it'll help you in your tangling as well. But I hope everyone is doing very well. As always, staying safe, all that fun stuff. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to show these here. Wait a couple minutes. You guys can let me know, anyone out there, if I believe you can see me. And I don't know if you can hear me because I keep my volume down as we go through. Just going to grab my supplies. All that fun stuff. Okay. So, something before we start tangling. Let me move my drink here. She's kind of a big bottle here, and I don't want it to fall. So we'll just push that up there. Good morning, Teresa. How are you doing? Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, Dama. Oh, rainy British Columbia, Rocky Mountains. Oh. We had some rain last night. Rain's a good thing, minus the wind, that fun stuff. Okay. So, one of the things, I'm just going to grab one more thing real quick. There we go. So one of the things, like I said, before we start tangling, so I finished up I am doing well, Teresa. Thank you for asking. One of the things we just finished up in our membership, the 21 days for mental health challenge, our Tangle challenge. Zentangle Inc. They call it their Be Well, and they did a different type of format. Now, what I did was I chose my own tangles. I didn't want to wait until they released theirs because then it would have the timing just would not have been right. But in our memberships, we did a tangle a day for 21 days. And then here, so in our first tier, so when it comes to single tangles, I put them in this sketchbook and I map them out, that way, whether I'm creating a form. This is how our single tangles, we show one tangle a month. I show it on a bijou, and then I do it in this formation. So it creates this fun pattern with the tangles. These are just some watercolor panels that I tangled on, and you can just do a single tangle and get something beautiful. These would be beautiful on your card fronts. after you do them. And then here's our 2026 mental health challenge. So in our first tier, we showed the tangle on a bijou tile and walked through step by step, talking through how that tangles formed. And then I created like postage stamps, and then I applied a postage stamp and then even tangled the lines going across and just tangled it in a different way to show that we don't have to stick with one version of the basic tangle. Once we learn that, we can have fun creating it in other formations, other setups, to give us a different look. So for here, this is halaba, and that's what halaba looks like. And then here it is on the postage stamp. I used a die in my stash to create this, and then just added tipple to it to give it that different look, to really pull it out. The paper that I used here is is the Strathmore mixed media. It's a heavyweight cardstock by Strathmore, and it's the blue toned. They have white, black, blue tone, gray tone, and tan toned. Really loved how this looked. Loved how the white chalk just popped off of this. Created the highlights. This is Diva Dance. And then here's just Diva Dance having fun, just dancing around in this. So when it comes to single tangles, this is most of the time how I will store them, um, to just show them off. Created just the little pockets for them to sit there. And I think everyone had some fun when it came to the tangles that I chose. And it was fun to see the tangles that Zentangle Inc. chose, to see how close we were. And we pretty much, we were close to each other. So that is one way that I store. I get these on Amazon, and as they fill up, they become my portfolios. So that's what we did in our first tier. And then also in our first tier, we do a card set and all of that fun stuff, because it's all about the paper. Now for the second tier, we did a one sheet. We'll call it a one sheet wonder, where these are the same tangles. And this is a piece of Canson XL paper, watercolor paper. And I added, of course, watercolors to them. Now, Canson XL watercolor paper is wonderful to tangle on, very much so. Um, this is, what the packaging looks like. I get mine from Dick Blick. It's at a great price. You get 30 sheets. I get the 9x12. You can get larger ones. And then if I want, I just can cut it down. But this is my favorite watercolor paper. I like the blooms. It's not 100% cotton. And that's something that I found out is key, in something for tangling. Okay, of course, it's key when you watercolor, you will get different effects when it comes to that. But this is the paper that I used for this panel and this panel. I wasn't quite sure which one we were going to use, and I just added some circles and some other lines to go through it. So I'll be keeping this and setting that aside. But this is what that panel looked like. Where my concern came in was at the end, and all 21 tangles are represented in here. Jetties is bouncing around throughout it. And then I even outlined some of the blooms to make them stand out and tangled in behind them. This is a piece that would be beautiful to hang in a frame. Now, for these types of pieces, since it's 9 by 12, I store them in a portfolio binder type thing. So it's just the clear pockets. These are ones that we've done in the past. Let me put this black page back in here because I pulled that out. And these are just pieces of construction paper that I put in these pages. And then that's how I store the full 9 by 12 pieces as well to keep them protected. So in case anyone was wondering that, again, I get those from Amazon as well. So Gwen, I really just chose a side. I don't know. It looks like I did go on the smoother side. But what's nice with the Canson XL cold press, even their textured side is not too bad when it comes to that. So the issue, and it wasn't really an issue, it was a moment that I had, is when I went to apply the chalks, because I was going to use the same colored chalks to enhance these along with the graphite. Did not have a problem with the graphite going down and blending out, never have. However, when I went to do the chalks, whether it was a white chalk, whether it was the colored chalks, I just really had an issue with getting them to lay down onto this piece. The darker ones, yes. But the white, you can see it's not blending, it's not bright, it's not vibrant. And that was it really confused me, to be honest. I couldn't understand it. So I was talking to Biddy one day. Kalinda, hello, good morning. So I was on the phone with Biddy. Yes. And she was telling me, or we were just talking, and I was just talking about this, and it came to me, it might be because it wasn't 100% cotton paper. If I put my hand over this and just, appreciate it, all right, that's what we're doing here. It does feel slick. It just, especially where the watercolor is compared to just the plain paper. I can feel a difference. And the watercolors that I used on this, I believe, were my Mission Gold watercolors. But I do feel a difference. It's almost, because again, remember, Canson XL is a cellulose paper. It's not a cotton style paper. And that's one of the reasons why it is truly more affordable. Your 100% cotton papers are higher in price. So she was telling me about this new paper. So I got some. Thank you, Betty. And it's by Ohuhu. And anyway, and that's what we did. So this is how we worked them. So I did 3 separate videos. Okay. For that challenge. So this here is by Ohuhu, and it's a watercolor paper, but what they've designed is the top layer of the paper is 100% cotton. and then it's on that thin sheet is sitting on top of like a cellulose type paper. So I would recommend, if you're in the YouTube sphere, and to just search. It is called Ohuhu, a word I cannot pronounce. Walua, Walua, yeah, I guess. Cordelia, good morning. And it's a cotton top watercolor pad. So again, the top layer, when you open this layer here is cotton, and underneath it, it's something else. It's like a cellular, and you can. It takes a lot to rip them apart. But with everything that I saw from people, they're very impressed with this and what this does. Now, these pads also come in a hot press, and they come in either a 30 sheet or a 20 sheet pack, 9 by 12. It's 140 pound, just like your Canson XL. And this is very reasonable for a 100% cotton paper. And I'm just going to call it that. I know somebody's going to say it's not 100% cotton. I know, but the top is. All right. It is 100% cotton top, and it is acid free. All right. You can't see that because I don't have that there. They do claim that it is acid free when it comes to this. So I bought some of it, and I created a panel. Now, the cost. So the 30 sheet pads, again, very affordable. I wrote it down. You think I'd be able to find it? Lisa, hello. Holly, good morning. How are you guys doing? I hope you all are doing well. So whether it's cold press or hot press, all right, 20 sheet pad is $14.99. And I get these from Amazon. Yeah, I think I own stock in Amazon. It's, because you get it quick. $14.99. That is a phenomenal deal. And the 30 sheet pads are $19.99. So huge, huge, huge cost savings. If you're looking for this. So after I got them, you're going to hear a thud. That was not me. That was the pads. This is the cold press cotton top by Ohuhu. Now, when it comes to the texture, the cold press, you can see it does have a good texture to it. It's not super, super bumpy, but it is there. All right. So if you're looking for something when you tangle to not be so textured, you want to go with the hot press. The hot press, and you're not going to be able to see it, on the camera. It's got just a very small amount of texture. It is not super smooth like a Bristol Smooth. It's not slick. It does have just a little bit of texture. So if you're interested in this, I would look at the hot press when you're tangling. All right. So I put watercolors, used the same watercolors. You're gonna hear that thud again. Used my Mission Gold, and I created a background. Now, what you are going to see when it comes to your cotton papers is watercolors just blend beautifully. They just merge, they meld. There is a difference between what you see with watercolors on a cellulose paper compared to a cotton paper. And I know I'm not using technical terms. I am not a watercolor artist. I use watercolor paper for tangling, for card making. And I like the blooms. And on a cellulose, you're going to get those hard edges. You're going to get those hard lines that you can see here. Like you can see that right there. I'm hoping it could. Um, Hello, Vicky. Good morning. You get these hard lines and blooms because of the way that it dries. Here, you don't necessarily get these. You kind of have to work at getting these blooms and hard edges. It also takes longer to dry. This holds water beautifully. If you do like to watercolor and all of that, it blooms, or it holds the water. So you get those beautiful blends as you drop your colors in. It just keeps moving and shifting around. To get blooms on a cotton, you wait until you think it's dry. It's still going to feel cold. That's how you know it's still damp. And then you splash the water on it. And then you'll get some blooms like I have here. But this did take a nice long time to dry. We're talking hours for this to get completely dry. This was taped down. So it does have some warping, just like with anything. For me, anything's going to warp. You're adding water to it. You're changing the structure of the fibers. Um, Here was the real and final test for me to say, yep, that's it. So with some of the blooms that I had, I outlined them. And then I came in with my white chalk and my graphite to highlight them. And the white chalk came on here beautifully. It just laid down. It just blended right out. You can see just how white I was able to get it compared to this. So the best part to see is here right in Doodah. And again, as I'm putting my finger on this, it just is slick. It's very slick. So now it's not going to grab, but when I put my hand over this, I can still feel the texture of the paper. And I can feel the fibers. It's porous. So if I here's my white chalk here, and if you'll see, I've really got to work this in to get that chalk to lay down the way I would want it to lay down. I mean, and I'm really working this in because it's just too slick. It's got nothing. It's like colored pencils. I always say with colored pencils, if you go light, you want to have light layers because you don't want to fill the tooth. Once you fill the tooth of your paper, colored pencil, the pigment is not going to be grabbed from the pencil anymore, and it gets that shiny film that blooms. You just can't lay it down, and that's what this did. On this one, I don't have that. So if I look at, let's look at this one right here. The red, this is Canson XL, Lisa. It's a wonderful paper. You can tangle on it, graphite, awesome. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. I do not want to say that you cannot use Canson XL. What I'm going to say is if you do it over watercolor, you may have a problem putting chalks down, but you can still put your graphite down. Graphite was not an issue at all. Not at all. So if I go here, and you're going to see the moment I put this chalk to this, she's down. She's bright. She's vibrant. I can color it in. And I chose this one because it's close to this one. So you can see just how much I'm able to get there. And then even with my graphite, it's just grabbing. I can feel the paper grabbing these two pencils, chalk and graphite. And you can see it just blends beautifully. So I just wanted to come in and say, hey, little bit of tidbit, little bit of information, details. That's, and you can see just the vibrancy difference. I mean, even if I go over this, it just doesn't want to grab. There's no tooth. It's not grabbing that chalk. I am not saying this piece is wrong. I'm not saying that this doesn't work. I'm not saying that this is not beautiful. I'm not saying any of that. So I do not want to deter any of you to continue to use what you have. I'm just showing here's an option that's affordable. And I've watched many people on YouTube, many true watercolor artists and just artists in general trying this. And there's really, I haven't seen anyone that says, nope, this is not. Because again, 100% cotton paper is very expensive. For those of you that saw when we were looking at our single tangles, so these tile here are the Zentangle tiles. That's 100% cotton paper. That's what they chose for their papers, and their papers are specific. These here, this was done on 100% cotton paper because these were scraps of arches, which, yeah, very expensive. Whew, break the bank. But you get what you pay for. If you are an arches fan and you want to tangle on it, stick with the hot press. They're cold press, very textured. But again, it has two sides to it. And even what I've been seeing, and these two were done on that as well, and what the artists that I was watching on YouTube were saying is you could use the opposite side, the other side of it. Because remember, the underneath is not 100% cotton. It's like a cellulose base. But they were having pretty similar results. Now, I did not watercolor the back. I only did the front. And you can feel. So if you're interested, it's just an option when it comes to that. And I wanted to let you guys know that. Let's see. Cordelia, what did you do? I'm catching up. Okay, well, Cordelia, I hope you feel better. But, oh, Cordelia. Okay, happy thoughts coming your way. Happy thoughts coming to your way. So yeah, Kalinda, you really can. There is a huge difference, and I hardly even had to work that to get that down. So yeah, with what I'm going to use this for, I think it's a great buy. I think it's at a good price point. 30 sheets for $19.99. You pretty much pay like $25 when it comes to arches for 10. Now, you can also buy arches hot press, very large sheets for like $7. So that's something to look at too. You know, go to your Dick Blick online, because if I walked into that store, it would be very dangerous for me. Or a Jerry's Artorama, same thing, very dangerous for me. But if you buy their large sheets, like 30 by 22, Arches hot press, if I remember, it's like $7.50. And you can cut them down and, you know, make your books out of them, cut your pieces down. And it's affordable that way as well. So that's another thing that you can look at too. Buy large sheets, and Dick Blick does a great job shipping them. They're flat, it's huge. They keep the size that it is. They tape it all up. It could take a while to get to the paper with how they pack it. This is not Gwen. So Gwen asks, is this my new tangling media over my You Create watercolor papers? No. This is the paper that I'm definitely going to use if I'm tangling over watercolors. If I'm doing a spread like this, or something that's going to resemble this, I'm going to use these sheets. And that's the only thing that I'll use these sheets. So a pad for me is going to last a while. When I do watercolor. So if I put a spot of watercolor, or if I do this whole panel in watercolor, I'm going to use the Ohuhu papers. For regular tangling, I love that You Create watercolor paper. And I like that paper too for watercolor. Now, with that said, I haven't tested that You Create paper. And guys, what this is, it's on Amazon. I keep saying that word. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. And it's called You Create watercolor. It's 90 pounds and it's at a great price. You can get like 100 sheets of this watercolor paper for, I think it's like maybe $22, 100 sheets. And it is beautiful. I love to tangle on it. It's actually what I use for practice designs. If I have an idea when it comes to my stamps, when it comes to a tile that I want to create, and I want to try a new technique, if something's overlapping or doing that, that is the paper that I use. But I do also have the access to the Zentangle tiles as well. So you see me using those a lot also. But You Create is right up there. No, it's so for general tangling, yeah. I love, if you're looking for an alternative, it's that You Create. It also does come in 140 pound as well, and that's just as good. And it's cold press, but it's not so textured. It's just got this perfect amount of texture to it, that it doesn't make the pen skip. The more texture you have, your pen is going to skip across that page. Now, again, this is the cold press, and when I did these, my pen was not skipping too much. Every once in a while it was, because this is more textured. So if you're interested, I would suggest the hot press. But check it out, please. I encourage you to go through YouTube Sphere, search Ohuhu Cotton Top Watercolor Paper Review. I know Lindsay the Frugal Crafter did it, and other names that I just have just went out of my head. They don't have anything bad to say when it comes to that. So I just wanted to give that tidbit. I think she did, Gwen, yes. But I know Lindsay did review this. And she, you guys know Lindsay if you've seen her. She puts things through the test. And everyone is just very pleasantly surprised when it comes to that. Oh, good, Lisa. Do you like it? Do you like the You Create watercolor paper? Yes, Holly. Okay, so 250 sheets for about 30 of the You Create. Yes. You can get it in 9 by 12, the You Create. You can also get it in 6 by 9, which I think is cool. And you can get these different things. I do. I like it. I think it is a great alternative. And I also do stand by the alternative of, your Canson XL. I go with the vellum. Again, I like a little bit of tooth. The smooth is just way too smooth for me. I used to use that when it comes to after you do a stamp design, you need the surface to be really smooth when you put it into Photoshop. Which still learning that. Oy. But I don't have to. The You Create's perfect. So I'm just tickled, tickled that I'm able to continue to just stick with my You Create. So they are absolutely wonderful alternatives. Let's see, Kalinda, I'm looking on that on that A place. Thank you. I see You Create for 50 sheets. Yes. Yep. 90 pounds is 50 sheets for 17. Oh, that 90 pounds 12 by 18. 140 is 9 by 12. It comes in all different sizes for the You Create. But yeah, it's Kalinda. If you haven't used it, you will love it. And I think the 90-pound is just great. It's not as thick, of course, obviously, as the 140, but I absolutely love it. Let's see here. Let me look. These are tiles I've got to put away. Here we go. This here was done on the You Create. Good morning, Jock. How are you doing? And I know because there's no, and yeah, it's flimsy, but I mean, it's not like we're gonna go frisbee with it. Oh, could you imagine a tangled frisbee? Oh, oh yeah, that's cool. What's another one? I know there's other ones in here. This one's done on You Create. As well. This one's done on You Create. This is actually a stamp that Anthony had. It was just like an outline type thing. Well, why can't we tangle in that? We can use an outline stamp and tangle in it. And I think I did a video on that. That's up on my channel. And then these two as well. These are tiles I've got to put away. I rearranged all my tiles. Yeah. And then this is another one done on You Create. And again, one of Anthony's stamps that he had. And then I think this one here. Yeah, this one's You Create. Again, another stamp. He had great outline stamps, geometric outline stamps. And when I saw them, I'm like, oh, we can tangle in that and turn it in there because the stamp can be your string when it comes to that. Okay. Okay, Kalinda. Now this is going to be fun. Eyeball ones. Really? Eyeball ones? Which Okay. What eyeball ones? And we can do that. Oh, Kalinda. You're going to Paper Ganza, aren't you? Who's going to Paper Ganza here? Oh, have a good one, Vicky. Thank you so much for stopping by. I cannot wait to meet you. You're getting there early too, right? Because I know I'm getting there early. Yay, Holly, you're going to do it virtual. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'll get to see you early. I think it's going to be, you're going to hear me and Biddy in the airport. Yeah. It's going to be a very loud explosion, I think. It's going to be a loud explosion when I see so many people. Okay. I cannot wait to see you, Cool Johnny, too. Lisa, you signed up virtually too? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, could you? I would love for you to fly in, but oh my. I would love all of you to fly in. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So hopefully I don't get, you know, with what I was saying last time we went live, with um my situation and the muscle spasms. It'll be fun on the airport. In the plane. So they'll probably have to like roll me out of the plane until my legs come back. It's not like you can stand up, you know, where you're in a plane and all of that fun stuff. I did, Jill. I did say Paper Ganza. I cannot wait. And I put all kinds of names of people that I want to sit with. I just have to, I also told them, put me in the back. So if you guys want to sit in the front, that's fine. Cause I'll have to get up and stand. And then of course, I let people know. I know I'm going to hear bad comments are about to come out. I smoke every once in a while. I'm not a chain, but I don't want to offend anybody with that either. Nor do I want to get in any arguments with people about that. Okay, I got it. Okay, so she's talking about jetties. So is it this one you want to learn? Or you just want to learn jetties? Kalinda. We can do jetties. Okay, we are going to know Johnny. All right, so let's have some fun with jetties. Jetties it's an orb. Okay, that other one you had in your hand briefly, like 3 layers down. This one. This one. This one. Now it's about 6 layers. Okay. So I'm going to hold. So it's one of these. So this one. We're going to call this one number 1. The one with the flux in your hand. This one. So the one in my right or the one in my left? Oh, this one. This one. Yeah, we can do this one. So, now nobody get upset with what I'm about to say. So, Kalinda, and for those of you that are coming in early, but I'm going to be tangling like the whole time, even during paper cans. It's what I do, but I'm going to be making cards too as well. So tip on thing. I am going to bring so we're actually getting together early as well, which I cannot wait. I cannot wait. This is very exciting for me. And I think I'll do it on a different color paper. But I'm going to bring with me. No. Kalinda, we can do that. Remember, we just tangle. No. We just tangle. So you gave me an idea. Let's tangle this. This was actually going to be a class. I teach in person. This was actually going to be a class that I was going to teach, but I couldn't get that done in like 2 hours. And I think this time I'm going to do it on a tan tile. And then you'll be able to see the difference. Now I'm going to put that here. So this has Marasu, which is a fun tangle. It has Mooka. This is Foundabout. This has got Flux. This is a different version of Verdigogh. And Fescu. And Tipple. And this here is, I can do this. I think that's what that's called. Let me be nosy. I can this. That is what that's called. I think. We're going to confirm that. Yes, it's called I Can This. All right. Let's tangle. So grab what you have. But anyway, as I was saying, so I'm going to be bringing Zentangle supplies. Kits, little mini kits for everyone. So when we get together early, I'm hoping we'll get to tangle. And we'll just tangle for one night. Not all the nights. I don't want to take over. So stay tuned. All right. I've got not my pen. Grab your pen. Grab your fine liners. Grab whatever you've got. Grab your pencils. I've got my graphite. I've got my Micron Black 01. Going to be able to throw in my white chalk here. And we have our blending stumps, tortillones as well. And I'm also going to pull in the brown Micron 01. This tile by Zentangle is called the 5x5 or 5x5, right? Yeah, no, 5x5. And it is a new shade of the Renaissance tan. But you could use the Strathmore mixed media tan toned. It's a little lighter, but it's awesome. The toned colors with mixed media Strathmore are great to tangle on as well. And I get the 6x9 pads. It's awesome. And it's 180 pounds. You don't want the sketch paper. I made the mistake of buying the sketch paper. I'm just saying. All right. Let's tangle. Why does my room look so dark? Can everyone see? Okay, everyone can see. All right. You know, Holly, we can do that. Send me an email with your information. And we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yes. Yes, Johnny, you can do that. You don't have to use the graphite and the chalks and all of that stuff. It's beautiful in a watercolor. And if you watch the beginning of this, I went through when you use watercolors. And since you're not going to use graphite will work well, but the chalks, yeah, any watercolor paper will do. Jill, it's anyone can do this. We do not need any artistic ability. None. Absolutely none. Mm-mm. All right. So let's get started. And if anyone wants to be noticed, the beauty of the membership, you could join in the first tier for $2.99, and there's an introduction course in there that I did. You can watch that and then cancel out the next month. So for $2.99, you'll get an introduction course if you're nosy. I mean, totally. But yeah, so I figured I would do that. And then I also have a secret for Paper Danza, which I'm not going to tell you. Yep. I annoyed everyone. Yep. All right. So here we go. So I just put my border, broke the plane of the plain white. So this is done in steps. We'll keep that there. And I'm going to start with, so we can put our string. So here's one. And you'll see just how different this is going to look. And that was my string. Just that little going on there. Oh, I need to change my glasses because I can't see. Oh, I can see. All right. So we're going to start out with 2 R lines. This is kind of the base when it comes to this. And we're just going to do a half moon. And then we're going to R that. And it's a close aura. And always take your time. And please remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath, because I know you all do. All right. And then we're just going to have some fun. Going to work on the Verdigogh. And Verdigogh can take many different shapes. For some reason, this is kind of a shape that I've been leaning towards, where it's just 2 R lines. It's almost like halaba. We can come in with a different color. And you don't have to be on the tan tile to come in with a different color. For some reason, you develop, as we keep tangling, we develop the different ways of what we gravitate to. So see, it's just lines. It's just lines. And we take our time. And the beauty of Zentangle is it's non-representational. No 2 will ever look the same. We draw behind, doing the same strokes. And remember, if anyone has any questions, try to put caps so that I don't miss them. And you can put as many of these as you want. Remember, turn your tile. Just like I said, they can take different shapes as well. So we can have one that comes up, and then when it comes out, it can wiggle. So we can have a wiggle. Oh, Jill, have a good one. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see. Oh, we can put another one in. We can even put C curves on each side. So we can just have these different formations that come through. And it's all Verdigogh. Just takes different shapes. Can have them look like feathers if you want. All right, so I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to put in a Mooka. I always take my time with Mooka. Mooka is my nemesis. But I absolutely love it. And then over here, Marasu is I like to think of it as a chunky print tops. And you can make it as big or small as what you want. And I'm going to grab a bigger pen to ink because we'll be here all day. I'm going to grab my one graphic. But what I'm going to do is put my lines in. Just going to put an X in there so that I know. But that's where I need to ink that in. And you just keep spiraling around and give yourself some space. And don't worry about the previous area. If your lines are looking like they're falling in the same area, don't worry about that. These are just C curves. Just like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. Since I put my X's there, I can go back in. It's tough, guys, to not hold your breath. I still do it. I still do it as well. Just realize that you're doing it. And we do it because that helps us keep, or I should say, I do it because it helps me to keep a straight line. Or if I want that line to be straight, I was with once a month, there's a group that I get together with. And my sister goes as well. And it's called a stitch along. So it's for cross stitchers. So my sister is a cross stitcher. And a gardener. And when I go, I tangle. And allegedly, I've been working on a project. And that's usually the project that I bring with me. And I got in the zone. Meaning they were asking me a question and I wasn't answering them. Whoops. I'm going to switch to my smaller one here because that. Now, you don't have to have the graphic one. You could have, if you're using microns, you can have the 12 or the 8. That would work just fine as well to ink in larger areas too. Your PN's great for that as well. I do also get asked a lot, is there any other pen when it comes to an alternative? And there are. I do like the microns. They are my go-to, but I do love and enjoy the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. Um, And I do enjoy my Faber-Castell are the second ones. And then there are Unipens, the fine liners. I find they dry out though. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, we can do it. So Faber-Castell or my Microns, they're the two that I'll go with, but any pen will work. You can use a ballpoint pen. Again, use those supplies that we already have. I stick with those two because they're archival. And when they say that they're waterproof, you still have to let it dry. Like on this paper here, this is a lot of ink that's going down. So if I wanted to add any watercolor to this or anything like that, I've got to wait. I've got to wait a while for this to dry. Because they will smudge. And we are at our last one. And then I'm going to come in with the brown. And I'm going to add the lines coming from that. And again, notice that I'm turning the tile. My hand isn't moving. Please do not try to do yoga with our hands. In time, as you keep practicing and keep working your tangles, you'll get more comfortable doing strokes in different directions. I am more comfortable with the stroke if I'm R-ing coming towards me. But it depends upon what I'm doing. So like for this, I'm more comfortable with it coming towards me. When I'm R-ing this, I'm more comfortable sometimes to create the original one to go that way. And then when I R'd, I came back this way. So you'll just develop those habits and level of comfort. And the two colors that I'm using, you can certainly do on a, a original white tile as well. All right, so our Marasu is done. And what we're going to do next is Foundabout. Just going to move some things here. Because even though I've been doing this for a while, I still like to reference the tangle just to make sure. So Foundabout is an awesome, it's a vine. It's very organic. And Foundabout starts out with these arches that are C curves. And then we come back down and separate. So you got a point and then a large space at the bottom. And then we go the opposite way and meet at the point. And we keep doing that. We just keep going back and forth. And you can change your curve of Foundabout by just changing the direction in which these go. So you can see I'm angling this to go this way. And now if I want it to go up this way, I just change the angle going that way. So it's all in the pitch in which you want to do that. And you want to go back and forth. So Foundabout goes back and forth. You don't want to do all one side and then go to do the other side. So especially in our next steps. So here we want to come from this point and we're going to curve out and then we're going to come back down. All right, so we're going to create that leaf. So I'm going to come out and then I'm going to come back down. And then I'm going to go to this one. You don't want to do this one. You want to go here. So you're going to turn your tile. Again, I'm going to come out and then I'm going to come back down. I'm going to turn, come out, and I'm going to come back down. And I even, for some reason, I don't know why, I actually, I start away from this point and I come in and retrace that and then I kick out and then I come back down. I don't know why. There's just some things that we do and then I come in and I clean it up and show it some love. And all right, so we have that. So it's going to get fuller as we do the next step now. So now we're going to come back down to the bottom. Making sure there's no... Gina, good morning. Welcome. All right, so now we're going to work on the top part, and this is where it starts looking like it's enveloping over each other. And this is just a large C curve, but we're going to draw behind. So again, we start from here. We stop, we pick up our pen, and then we bring it back down. So then we turn. And we're going to come off. We're going to stop. And then we continue on to the other side. Turn. We're going to come off, stop, and come back on the other side. Come off, onto the other side. And some of them will look chunkier, some of them will look skinnier, but you want to go back and forth. Just like that. And that's the basis of Foundabout. Now we have fun decorating it, adding love to that. And what we're going to do in these bumps here, I'm going to put, I think what Kalinda was calling eyeballs, which I think is a very cute name. And what this is actually called is caviar. But I like eyeballs. And then I'm going to come in with the brown, and we do another orb in the center. And then we do that C curve, which is like a natural highlight, and then we just ink in the rest. And the highlights don't have to be in the same spot. Let them go in different areas, so then it looks like they're bouncing around. I feel so bad for my husband. He got a cold. So if you all remember that cold that I had a while ago, he has it now. And I feel so bad for him because it is not pleasant. It just bounces all over the place in you. All right, so we have that. And then up here in our top part, I just did some aura lines. So we're just going to aura this curve. And I'm going to do that in the brown as well. These are close auras. Yours don't have to be. But again, turning that tile, and I'm actually going to turn this one so that I can come from the point and come out from there. Don't worry if you have the same number of auras. Just create your auras, even on the opposite sides. You don't have to worry about that. No one is going to know. You can even just do the top and then come down and do the bottom. All right. And I used this phrase before, showing love, showing our tile some love. That's like, okay. That's where I'll come in. In fact, I'm going to use my thicker pen, my 01, and I'm just going to retrace this bottom line and take it up to the point. That's called weighting the line. And you can certainly do it with your 01 or PN. And you can just see how it just pushes this tangle up. Now I'm not going to the top. I'll come in with my 01 to clean it up. and that's just on the bottom. If my pen skips, I let it skip. I think that adds something to it. Now we're going to look at these points. And just emphasizing them. Just like that. And then what I want to do first is I want another Mooka to come in. So I'm just going to go here. It's going to come behind. So I lift my pen. This is where I hold my breath. See, I hold my breath too. And then I think add a small one down here. Remember, no matter how many times you do the same tile, they will never come out the same. And let's do, so for our next one, we're going to do I Can This. And it literally is just that. I can this. So let me find that and give me that. Forgot my Sharpie. I can this. All one word. Teresa, good morning. So this one's a fun squiggly line. And we're going to come up. We're going to go behind that Mooka. Squiggle line. And then we're going to have these offshoots. So I'm going to have one coming there. And we're just going to have one peeking out there, pretending it's behind that Mooka there. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. We'll put one here. And we'll put one there. And you can see they got smaller as they come up. Now, on top of these that we just did the offshoot, we're going to do like a partial leaf. So I'm going to zoom in on this one. Hang on. I know. I should have done that before. Nobody holler at me. So on each one of these, we do this S curve and then we come back down. But we're not touching it. It's like a cap. We're creating a cap. And this we can do all one side first. And then you can come back down on the other side. All right, so now we've got these points that, you know, we're not quite touching. So now, and this, no rhyme or reason. All right, now we're going to put these U shapes in. And you want to put them in like here. And I'm going to put another one here. And you want to put one here. And then here. So it's like at the base of these areas that you're just putting these U's or V's, anything like that, whatever you want to call them. And whatever shape you want them to take. But you're just going to add those in, and I think I'm going to put one of these. It's going to tuck it in behind. Just like that. And again, don't overthink this. I did for many times. Just want to put those V's towards the base. They can be up higher if you want them, whatever you want to do. Now the fun comes in, and I'm going to put one right here as well. And I'm going to tuck one in there. So the fun comes in. So from these caps that we did, we're going to squiggle. And then we're going to connect into those U's. And now I'm just going to have this come down like that. All right, so we're just going to squiggle, 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 and we're going to connect. So wiggle, wiggle. So you're connecting, and like in between here, we're going to wiggle again. So from the cap, wiggle, wiggle, connect. From the cap, wiggle, wiggle, connect. When you have no line in between, we're going to come closer, but we're wiggling, and then we're connecting. Turn your tile, wiggle, connect. Wiggle, connect. I like to come from the cap, wiggle, to connect. Wiggle, to connect. It can be a subtle wiggle. It can be a dramatic wiggle. But we're just wiggling. That one's just going to go off underneath. And then it comes down in the point. Okay, so that's I can this. Ave, Biddy. You know, no one, we are not mapping today. No, Biddy, we are not mapping. Now, mapping is something that I'm actually, that's going to be done in the level 2. And in the level 1, we're gonna transition. Yes, those are the two things that are coming up for tangling in the 2 areas. Okay. Now, the love that I like to show for this one, I don't know why. So where we did those V's, I like to emphasize them and just pull them down and like put a point. It's like I'm weighting that point just a little bit. And now it doesn't have to be on those V's that we added. It could be wherever you want that to happen. But it's just adding that little bit of depth to it. And then if I have to, I'll ink it in as well. So I'm like adding weight to that V after the fact. And you can just see how it kind of helps it create this 3D moment a little bit. And pretty much you're just retracing over that line to get that depth. And then I just do it on the base a little bit. You can also do it on the caps as well. And again, you're just retracing very lightly. You're not adding any other strokes. All right. You can even come in and you can add weight to these lines. So where they come in, you can round them just like that on the upswing, where they create the V. You just add a little bit of rounding. Rounding is a great enhancer. These little things, again, you'll hear me say that phrase, adding some love. But these are enhancers for your tangles. And now that just got a little different. So it's a different type of vine, but it's a fun vine. It can either be really full, depending upon the number of offshoots you create, or it can be just viney by having less. Totally your choice. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I want to go back to my Foundabout because I'm going to add my fescue tails. So I'm going to come off these points and just add a fescue on the top. And then on these here, I'm just going to add a line that's going to come off of it. And I'm going right over if something else there. And I'm trailing off to make the pen get lighter. So again, just another enhancer for it. So it's like a little wispy. And then I think here, I'm going to add a fescue. tangling is absolutely fun for me, but adding these little enhancers, oh, I love doing this. It's like I'm going to round that one. And then for the Mookas, I'm going to ink in the curve. Then I'm going to add some tipple coming off of that. And I'll ink in these areas there. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And it's fun to bounce as you're tangling, because then that's when you get the overlap. You know, the ones going in underneath, you know, like here, I've got Mooka coming in above it, but when I weight this area down, the orb is going to go behind it. So it's being hidden now underneath that leaf. Let's come in with the brown, and I'm going to highlight the rounding that I did at the leaves, just to add that little bit there. So now we've got the brown that's continuing through. And then we can add it on the tips of our leaves as well. Round those out. And then we can round these areas too in the brown. I like rounding because it connects. To me, it's like a connector sometimes. And the rounding is similar to when we did the letter and we went around. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze Flux. Flux is going to come up because Flux must be in every tile I do. We're going to switch back to the black. Oh, nice. I need a lot of transition mapping. Oh, bitty. Bitty, bitty, bitty. All right. So, Flux, we're just going to fill in with Flux. Flux is just going to have fun. And with Flux, I'm back to my black. And Flux is beautifully invasive. Or I should say, at least mine is. And you don't have to worry about those little tails that we added. You can tangle right over those. But you want them to overlap. That's what makes Flux interesting. You can have it peeking out. And then if I have these little spaces, I like to ink those in. And then I'll come in with the brown. To add the embellishment. Oops. And then we'll add our tipple. And again, I'm going to ink in those areas. To me, Tipple's a tangle too that's charmingly invasive. We can even have Tipple invading this space here as well. Why not? We can have the different colors. Now, do you have to have two different colors? No. Remember, there are no rules in Zentangle, except you got to breathe. That I'm going to say is a rule. You got to breathe. All right, and now Flux is going to invade in here. You've just got to remember to make sure that you're drawing behind. And you just want to take your time. Turn your tile. Breathe. Add your embellishments inside Flux as you go, because that'll help you to define it so that you can find it. And then I'm going to start adding the tipple. So don't always think you have to finish the entire tangle. You can enhance as you go. In this area here, I'm just going to ink that in. And by inking in these small areas, you're defining where that flux is coming through in a way. So see now how you have that break. All right, so now we have that. And we could even add tipple along the Foundabout. Now you can always wait to add your fescues, because they can either go behind or over, whatever it is that you would want to do with them. I think I need a new micron here. And then this one I think is going to just peer through. And then we'll round. There you go. Oh, Lisa, I'm so sorry you're coming down with something. I know my husband just got back. Um, so it should be interesting. All right, no. Yeah, Kalinda, it's and Kalinda, when you overthinking of the placement, it's normal. You know, it's just like in card making. You know, and I'll speak, and I can only speak for myself. You know, when I started in this wonderful world of paper, you you cannot help yourself but to compare, to say to yourself, why does mine not look like that? Why does, what am I doing wrong? I have everything the same that they have. And it can happen in here too, in any art form. You know, if you have the Zentangle Inc. has an app and it's called Mosaic. There's a free version where there's so much beautiful inspiration. Mosaic, Zentangle Inc. And then there is a paid version. I think it's $25 um, a month or a year. A year. Um, and that'll give you access to step outs for their tangles. But just to have the free version to see this waterfall, and you can search for certain tangles for their tangles, and all of this inspiration will come up. It's, yes, you'll do that. What I found broke me out of that. You know, well, how did they know to place that there, and how did they know to place that there? I'm gonna start adding my shading as we talk here. So I'm just gonna add. I'm gonna start out with the graphite, and then I'll highlight with the chalk because the chalk looks absolutely gorgeous on these tiles. Um, so I found what helped me breaking that was actually doing this type of panel where, you know, just found a tangle, put it down, found another tangle, put it on this side, found another tangle, put it here. They weren't connecting yet. And then as they got closer and closer, that's how you could see, you know what, any tangle goes with anything. Um, but that's what broke me out of it. Now, do you have to work on 9 by 12? No. No, you do not. Um, you could choose a 6 by 6. You could choose this 5 by 5 size. You know, you can have fun with the shapes that you have to add, you know, what you're looking for. But I do understand that. But that's what broke me, where I just said, okay, I'm just going to throw some tangles together and see what happens, see what works. And honestly, it all works. Put that there, put that there, there, there. And again, what I love is we don't have to be exact with our placement. We can scribble. Love scribbling. Yes. For the Marasu, I go to the outside with the graphite along that line that we created. And the chalk is just going to make this sing. And then for the Icanthis, I literally just go down the vine. And then I'll go to those V's, and then I'll go to the tips. Oh, I forgot one. All right, so that's the graphite. Let's get that blended. And remember, as you're blending out your graphite, you'll always have extra on there. So if you forgot a spot, you can just real quick swipe along that. I am heavier with my graphite. I do like the look of the graphite, aka pencil. So, you know, sometimes, less is definitely more. And when you have a lot of inked areas, I don't like to go over that with the graphite. It will create, make it shiny. No, it does not ruin the piece. It's just something that if I'm thinking about it, I'll avoid it. But you can see I go back and forth in a straight line when it comes to that. I leave the center alone. That creates that natural highlight. And then this, I just literally squiggle up. That's a technical term. And then I come down from the points. All right, so that is our graphite. All right, the chalk. Oh, forgot an area. No. All right, so I want to put my white chalk there. It just poofs right off. I'm gonna just accent along the curves. And with the chalk, I am just accenting the lines that are already there, or the graphite that's already there. I'm just popping those out. And remember, we do not worry about light source. We don't care about light source. We do not worry if it's coming from the left, if it's coming from the right. Not a concern. And we can even use the chalk to highlight Tipple. Sorry for the scratchy sound. There you go. This is 100% cotton paper too. And that's why even over the black ink, the white is going to grab, because there is tooth. There's tooth there that will grab onto the chalk. Graphite's graphite. Graphite's going to go on many surfaces. And then these are the two. Let's zoom back out just a little bit. Here we go. So these are the two. And again, you can see they're same tangles, same strokes, but they're always going to look different. You're not going to be able to recreate the exact same thing. And again, that's the beauty of it. That is absolutely the beauty of it when it comes to that. But that's, you can see how that chalk, it will just grab into it. So again, just the tip. So for those of you that joined in later, I went through, if you rewatch the beginning, I talk about, when you do watercolors, panels like this over watercolor, and a difference that you can get between 100% cotton and using the Canson XL, which is a cellulose. I love them both, and I will still continue to use the Canson XL as well, because I like what it does. The white chalk just may not go onto it as well. All right, let's put our chop. I think I'm going to sneak my chop up here. Yeah, I think I'm going to sneak it in up here. And we'll color this in this time. Remember, we sign and we date. Today's date the 7th. Yes. Yes, this pen is going away. So we have Flux, Marasu, Tipple, Foundabout. I know my handwriting is horrible. Mooka. Icanthis. There we go. You want to do one more? We'll keep it simple. It does. And again, the chalk will come up when it comes to, as long as it's got tooth. All right. It's got to have the tooth with it. And again, this was the first time that I did. Every other time that I did a piece like this, where we had multiple, even on the strings that we did. If you remember, so this here, this was Canson. No, that was not Canson. I think this was Bristol Vellum. But the chalk is a lot fainter. Let's find out. Come on. No, this is cotton. This was Arches. Because I can tell, because the chalk is going down and it's grabbing. I can feel it grabbing the texture, and she's coming up. Now I got to redo this one. So this was, and I keep saying Arches because that was the only cotton paper that I had. All right. All right, let me get that back in there. Even when I did these, remember we did these, this was 100% cotton paper too. I was using up my Arches because I found them. So I'm like, okay, let's use these. Because then I also was using it because these were the granulating watercolors by Mission Gold. Oh, hold on. I'll go back. So your chalks are going to hit better with that. But there's nothing wrong with using Canson XL. Okay, so Kalinda, we have, yes, where are you? So we have, guess it should be right side up so you can read it. So Flux, Marasu, sorry, my handwriting's horrible. Tipple, Foundabout, Mooka, Icanthis, Verdigogh, and Fescu. And I'll hold that there for a while. Yeah, my handwriting's horrible. All right. So focusing on the I can this concept, there's another tangle. Did you get those? Okay, got it. There's another tangle out there by Zentangle. Move my post-it. And it is called Sampson. Sampson. And it's very similar in the look of Icanthis. Or I can this. All right. We're just going to do the one, and I'm choosing a white 5x5. And that pen's going to go in the trash because, yep, it's dying. And I think that one is too. I've been working with these. I'm going to go to my pen, my trusty dusty pen. And it starts with an X. We go there. And we're going to go there. See? Very simple. And off of each of these, we're going to add shoots. So we're going to do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. And then we're going to mirror that. And you can see they get smaller as they go up. And then we're going to turn. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. And you can put as many as you want. It doesn't have to be set to 3. I'm just finding that's what's working for me. Just like that. And then we're going to wiggle all around this. All right. So we're going to not start from this point, but we're going to start right below it. And we're just going to wiggle around. And we're going to come down. We'll come up. And you're just letting your pen wiggle. We all got that song in our head now, don't we? Okay. And you can give them any shape that you want. can make them chunky, can make them skinny, but just let the pen dance the way that it wants to dance. And then we end it down there. And that's all that tangle is. And you can add to your shape. And again, remember to turn your tile. We don't do yoga. And you'll find as you do this, as you keep going, you'll get more comfortable with creating the wiggles. You'll see the change in the movements that you're taking. You can have very sharp wiggles. You can have curvy ones. If you have more spikes, they'll be nice and chunky. And that, for the main part, is Sampson. Now, what we also do with Sampson, and what part of its charm, is we add these triangles in here. So I'm going to come in, just curve out, curve out. So it's like these C curves that are just hugging it. And then we connect these two lines. And you can see we can switch to a different color pen. And then just choose one of your sides and we're going to R it. So for me, I'm always going to choose the left side because I like to see what I'm R'ing either needs to be on my left or it needs to be above me. Nine out of 10. And then our last one. And that is Sampson. Now to shade this, I'm going to pull in my dark graphite. So this is the 555, but you can use a a B8. So like if you look at pencils, you know, it's like a regular pencil is an H2. H stands for hardness and B stands for black. So the higher the number with the B, the darker it's going to be. And this, you literally you're going to follow your line. And I'm going heavy with this. You may not want to go heavy with it. You may want to stay light. And then you're going to go off these shoots. So you're just retracing over the lines that you put down. And I am making sure that my hand is up off the tile because this will smear in a heartbeat. And then I'm just going to come in with swirls. And I'm going to go right up the center of each of these leaves or petals. And you can see it'll get lighter as I get away from it. And I'm taking it almost up to the edge, the outer edge, as I'm blending this out. And then when I get to the center, I'm just going to pull it out. And that is Sampson. Heidi, hello. How are you doing? Shay, hello. Well, yes, that would help, Gwen. Having three shots of espresso will help doing Sampson. Yeah. It's tough. You know, for me, it is tough to do Sampson. And if you notice, like when I got to that last one, I just wanted to curve right down. You know, I want to do flowy curves, not this squiggle. It's tough for me to do the squiggle. For some, they may like that. And again, it depends on each of you, and the individual of what you're gravitating to and what you like. I'm doing well. How are you doing, Shay? Now, what's left over on this? I'm just going to pull it out and go from corner or from the point. And you can see there is still a lot of graphite in this. So you don't always have to add graphite. You know, there's botanicals, there's grid, there's geometric. Those types of tangles, you know, they're there. And it's what we want to gravitate to. And just because we're not comfortable doing them does not mean I got to check out this 01. I think this 01's dying too. Yeah, this one's okay. It doesn't mean that we can't. It took me years. It took me a couple years to be able to do Mooka. Oh, you too. I've got to make sure I put that. Because I also have, so I rearranged all my tiles for storage. So some of them I do store in an album. A couple of the challenges that we did, like the Inktober last year, I put in an album. An album that we created in our second tier. And then there was, I think it was the fragments. I created another journal to put the fragments in, because then you can, you know, journal, you know, about the fragments. But usually I put them in our storage, these types of scrapbooking pieces. And I just use the photo corners, and I do glue the photo corners in because they will just rip out eventually. But this is primarily how I do store my tiles, in this type of a book with black paper. Arteza, yes, you can still find them. They sell 2 in a pack, and they're long. They're like, I think maybe 8 inches by 10. I'm not sure what the measurement is. But I have those, and that's what I keep them in. So I have one for our Sundays live. I have one for singles, and then I have one just for tiles that go through. Let's see. I like the flow of population tangles. Okay. What do you mean by population tangles? You want to do one more? You want to do one more tangle? Let's do one that's very odd. All right, we signed that. Let's grab a normal size tile. All right, this one is called, do I want to do that one? This one's cute. All right, this one will be our last. And this one is called Frunky. Frunky. And this one was actually developed by, they have a team. Zentangle has teams all across the world when it comes to teaching Zentangle, and this group is in Germany. All right, so let's do our dots. And then we're going to try this 01. I don't know if it's working that well. So Frunky starts out, I love the name Frunky. Okay. So it's a fescue like shape, but I can't help but draw it as fescue. And then there's another one that comes off that's a little higher. And then we ink these in. And then there's a third one that comes up that's even higher. We got that. And then we aura this. And what I mean by that is we're going to come out. We're going to bounce. And we're going to bounce again. And then we're going to come down. So it's a pretty wide, aura, but we're just encasing them in here. Now, on this side, we're going to shoot out and we aura. And then once we have that first curve in, we just keep on aura-ing this. Not comfortable for my hand. And if you see, as it gets closer to this, my pen's getting heavier. That's just because of the way that my hand is angled. I'm not doing anything. The pen's actually doing that because I'm just curving with it. And I let those alone. I don't need to have, I like it when there's a difference in that line. That adds interest to it. And then here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add auras. And we're going to bring those all down. And again, you're just following the original shape. When you drew the first line coming off of these. just like that. And then off of these, we're going to do the same thing that we did here. So here we're going to come off and we're going to put a small one. And then we're going to come off again with a taller one. And then we're going to come off again with an even taller one. And we're going to do that over here too. Now, they don't have to be in line like that. We can also take this like that, have the center one be taller, and then have this one be shorter. I'll ink these in real quick. It creates a cool wave pattern, but you have to like aura. Yeah. You have to bond with aura. So I do think that this is a good tangle to work with, and it'll help with, you know, okay, this is more comfortable for my hand here. This is more comfortable for my hand here. And now we're going to aura these again. So we're going to come up. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to come down. And then we're going to aura these. Bounce, bounce, bounce. And then what you can do in here, if I do that and then aura this back in between, so wherever there's auras, you put your 3 fescues again. And they can take different shapes. You could do mookas. You could wiggle these. There's that word again. So it's like these tubes, these auras create that tube that's coming out. It's a fun tangle. It really is. And then to shade it, you shade around what I'm calling your fescues. So this will twist and turn and go into different areas based on where you put that. And again, like all of these spaces out here would be aura'd as well. So here I'll start from the bottom and bring that up. And like here, this would be aura'd. This little space here. Because then that just adds to the illusion of the wave when you go to add your graphite. That's what pulls these images out. And there you go. Frunky. I'd like the name. I think the name's cute. Now for my chop, yeah, we're going to put that right there. Frunky. I could see, I mean, you could really manipulate this one so that it looks like columns are coming up and over. So that one's fun to explore. Putting that one together. And again, that's what you should do. You know, explore your tangles when it comes to them. You know, choose one and just have fun saying, okay, what does this look like if I do this? What does this look like if I do that? It's how we get all the many thousands of tangles that are out there at tanglepatterns.com. There's thousands, absolutely thousands of tangles on there, and they also have the Zentangle. So they are the Zentangle method group. When it comes to that, but it's fun to take one tangle and say, okay, how else can I do this? I think this would be an awesome fragment. You know, taking it down to, you know, a 1 inch by 1 inch space. I think this would make a beautiful composition going through it. Because remember, we do have, you know, fragments. This would be cute in a little fragment. We can do that with our tangles. We don't have to just do the base, but keep doing the base. That's where a sketchbook really comes in. It's difficult to turn a sketchbook, and you know, your hand will come off the side unless it lays flat. But you can keep trying them, and working and getting those strokes down. You could just do pages of the base strokes when it comes to Zentangles, you know, 5-10 minutes a day. And then that will get the memory into your hand, because that's what you're doing. Every time you're tangling, you're putting memory into your hand. Every time you create a card, you're putting memory into your hand. Colored pencils, you know, everything, watercolors, you're putting a memory into your hand. If I don't tangle for a while, my strokes look very different, until I get back into, you know, the swing of things. It will change. It absolutely will change. So never get discouraged. Isn't, yeah, Frunky's cool. You know, I love that. It's just really cool. You know, me, I tangle big. I got to, you know, I could put more in there if I tangled small. But yes, exactly. Exactly, Kalinda. It's sketchbooks, while they're difficult for me to work in, because again, my hand wants to, I want to turn the tile and I want my hand flat. So I got to get used to that because I do want to work in a sketchbook, and I do want to continue. There's a couple sketchbooks that I have where I'm looking at the different um, you know, styles of, you know, taking one tangle, you know, like Huggins. And I did that. So Huggins was not last month's, or maybe it was, or it was either May or April. So Huggins was the tangle in tier one. And then in tier two, we did a study on it to say, okay, here's where Huggins started. And then Crazy Huggins was developed. Do I have that here? And then yes, I do. So this is what you can do in your sketchbook, you know, and this is what I want to do with all of the tangles over time, you know, looking at Huggins. Here's how it started. These are notes. We take off, we land, starts with a seed grid or a grid, you know, seed, take your time. And I developed a song when I do Huggins. Then it looked like this because it became a reticula base. You know, it evolved into this. And then it went into Crazy Huggins. And now it's turned into a spiral. So there's so many different things, and you can do that with every single tangle. So yeah, in the second level, we'll break down every once in a while. It's not all the time, but we'll break down a tangle to say, you know, look, this is what it can do. This is how you can go. In tier one, when I show the tangle, there's different ways that I'll show that tangle and what we do as well. So tangles, you don't have to, you know, again, I see a fragment on this. I see things coming off of this. I see tipple coming in here. I'm seeing print tomps in the background. And those are just the fillers when it comes to that. But sketchbooks are fun just to see an evolution on how you're growing and learning more in the art that you're creating. Because I will always tell you that you are creating art. You can say no all you want, but you are creating art. You're taking something and turning it into something else. That's the definition of create, and it's art. So that's a good thing. All right. All right. Any last questions? Um, so next weekend I will be live. Oh, I bet he is excited, Kalinda. I keep asking my husband, and he walks away. Yes. I believe, though, my husband is concerned that I'm going to tangle on one of my walls. He's very concerned because I tangle on anything. I don't know. Did I show you guys the mask that I did? Let me grab it. So every other year or every third year, Zentangle, for the CZTs, they do like, they're not recertifications, they call them Zen Agains. And this is where we learn, you know, more techniques, different techniques. I'm hoping we get into the nomads deeper because they were awesome. And they do it virtually and in person. So I do the virtual, but they get the virtual people involved as well, just like Paper Ganza is, which I think is awesome. So they had a gala one night and they sent everyone in the kit a mask, and you were to tangle on the mask. And that's what we did. So even though we were virtual, we were able to be part of it because they pulled us in live. So see, you can tangle on anything. This is one of those precast. I think they got them from Amazon. Precast molds, and then I pulled out from my stash. I had, this is Halloween stuff like loose cheesecloth, and then I had my whole array of feathers that I put in on this, and then I just glued that all to the back because it had this piece coming off of it, and I did not like that piece. So I covered it with all of my feathers, and I thought it was cool that I had those. They look like print dumps, so I threw those in as well. So you can literally tangle on anything. It just, you may chew up the pen or anything like that, but you know, that's okay. Just have fun. But my husband he's very scared that I'm going to tangle a wall. I keep letting him have that fear. When it comes to that. And I hope they do. I hope your husband and your son for your birthday do tangle with you. I really do. Because it's relaxing. It's fun. Just remember to breathe. Gotta remember to breathe. All right. So for just some updates, I will be live next Sunday. Let me just make sure on that. Yes, because it's the 14th. Yes. So we will be live. I have no idea what we'll be doing, but we will be doing something. In tier 1, I'm going to be choosing a stamp, and I'm going to show that one stamp making 3 different style cards using different mediums and so forth. We're going to do that. We did finish up our mental health challenge. We're going to have a tangle come out. And then I'm going to start talking about what the next project is that we're going to do. That's going to involve multiple tangles. And again, this is all in tier 1, multiple tangles, and it's going to be transition. How we go from one to another and go straight across. And we're going to do that on this size of paper. All right. And we're going to just keep going across and up and out. But we're going to go from one side to the other. We're not going to jump around like I did on this one because it's different styles. So that will be starting probably, if not the end of this month, definitely in July. So we'll go through the month of July. In tier 2, we're continuing with the lap book. Oi, I'm just Gwen, I hope you hear me blessing you. But I'm enjoying it. I am absolutely enjoying it. And the difference with the lap book is I'm getting my members there, as it's scary as it sounds, in my head. How do I plan this? How do I develop something like this? How am I figuring out this is what I want to go here? I want this to go over here. So it's a scary moment because you're getting into my head. But we're doing that live. And let me tell you what, it's very difficult to film that. But that's what we're doing in there when it comes to the lap book. All right. And then we're also going to do something for the idea book. And then for you guys, when it comes to the transition project, we're going to design and put together an accordion album, because then yours are going to go across the accordion when it comes to that. Okay. And then what's coming out soon, so that's either, again, it's either going to start probably July or August. Let's say that for the transition project. If I start the transition in August, then in July, we're going to map with Tangles. And that's going to be in tier 1 and tier 2. Same thing. So basically, tier 1 is going to get mapping. Tier 2 may have a different design of the map. And that's what I'll say about that. So those are the things. And then, of course, another card project. I'm always going to throw a card project in there. Soon will be a simplicity video coming out. I did that. Very basic, but we might do one on Sunday as well. So that's coming out as well. And about on Wednesday, there is a video that's going to come out. It was on the Podia where we used to be, the free. So it's going to come out on YouTube for everyone, where we do watercolor. It's like abstracts with mark making, and we're going to be deep diving into that soon, and how you can turn those into cards. So that will be coming out as well. So that's all the fun that's coming. I hope you guys are enjoying all of this. Again, I'm taking paper into a different realm. You still see cards, but again, we can do these different things, whether it's abstract mark making, because again, if we just have watercolors and a fine liner and a number 2 pencil, you can create your own designs. You can create your own stamps, and maybe that will help someone not have, again, this is not a cheap craft. And in today's time, maybe there's different ways that I can show, whether it's using scraps or creating your own tangles or using watercolors and putting your own marks on there for abstract, that can help you save just a little bit of money. And I'm looking at that too, because you don't need all the gadgets. The gadgets are fun. Don't get me wrong. I've got the gadgets, but we don't need all of them. We can create beautiful cards. All right. So that's what's upcoming. I will talk to you all next Sunday. I'm starting the countdown tomorrow for Paperganza. I cannot wait to see some of you. And Holly, we'll figure it out. You just got to send me all your details. We'll figure it out. I don't know how we'll do it, but we'll figure it out. Gotta be a way I can do a pod or something. We can just, I don't know. We'll figure it out. If not, I will plan a live for what we do there. How's that? If we can't get you in live to Paperganza, the beginning part, for those days, then I promise we will do a special live on that so that you don't miss out on what we did. All right, guys, you take care. Continue to stay safe. Continue to stay healthy. Love, blessings to you all. Thinking about all of you that need happy thoughts coming your way. They are still coming, and I hope they help. But enjoy. If you have any questions, you all know how to reach me. So please make sure you reach out to me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope I didn't forget anyone. I hope I didn't miss any questions. Again, if I did, just leave them down below on the replay, or email me and I'll get back to you. So much love, guys. Take care. Thank you so much for everything. I am truly grateful and honored to be part of your creative journey. Take care. Love to all. Bye.